Hi guys, welcome back. Do you ever wish that you could think more in English? That's our topic for today. And I'm joined today with my daughter, Tianna.
Hi.
Can you introduce yourself briefly?
Sure. So I'm Tianna. I'm a university student and I'm studying psychology and English.
Thanks. Tianna's here with me today because I had some technical difficulties with my video today. So today we have an impromptu video with the iPhone. You can let me know what you think. But first, let's get into our topic. So thinking more in English. We want to talk specifically about when you're reading, listening, and speaking, in those three areas, three of the big areas that we all work on. Some of you might know that I'm learning Spanish, and Tianna's also learning a couple of second and third languages.
Yeah, I'm learning Spanish and sign language, and I've tried to learn a little Greek too.
So we have some experience with this, and we know how difficult it is to think in your target language. So today we want to share with you a few ideas that might help. So first, let's look at reading. So when you're reading, you might be really tempted to look up every word that you don't understand. I know when I'm reading in Spanish, if I don't understand every single word, I want to get my dictionary out, or I'm doing this because I'm thinking of holding my phone. I want to ask Siri what the meaning of that is. And often I look that up in Spanish. Pardon me, I look that up from Spanish to English. And in that way, I'm not thinking in Spanish. So if that's my goal, then I need to try and read the article or the book without looking up words. What is your thought on that?
I think that even if you are going to look up a word, then you should look it up in your target language so that the
Absolutely.
definition isn't in your native language, it's in the language you're trying to learn.
Okay, so in your case, find a dictionary to look up English words with English definitions. That can be a challenge, right, T?
Absolutely.
Not necessarily a challenge to find the dictionary, but understanding. But if you do this for a while, you'll start to think in English while you're reading. Also, while you're reading, go on reading, and just so long you get the idea. That's the most important thing here, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so what was the next thing we said we were going to talk about?
Listening.
Listening. Okay, so when you're in a conversation in your target language, in English for you guys, it's really difficult. It's very, what would the word be? It's very tempting to, again, want to understand every single word. So when you're listening, again, like when you're reading, try to listen for the idea of what the person is saying. A lot of times, native speakers will speak very quickly, which makes it difficult, so you might ask them to slow down. Sometimes students ask me, if they're slowing down, then will I ever be able to understand native speakers? Absolutely, don't you think, T?
Oh yeah, for sure.
You need to be able to listen at a speed where you can understand, and then you can speed up a little bit. So what else was I going to say? Did I cover it on that one?
I think you got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So listening for the idea of what they're saying. Oh, and I know, if you were going to ask them to explain something.
Oh yes. Then you should ask them to explain it in your target language.
Right. So that way, if they explain it to you in English, then you are still thinking in English. And if you can't understand their explanation, maybe they can explain it in simpler vocabulary with more simple words. All right, so then last we're going to talk about speaking. Okay, so for me, speaking is the hardest thing in my target language. How about you?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I hear this from students all of the time. So It's very, very, again, what was that word I said? Tempting. Tempting, meaning I want to use my dictionary to look up the word that I want to say. Now, this is a challenge, but when you're speaking, if you can't think of the exact word you want to say, think of another way to say it, right?
Yeah, maybe you could describe it in some way.
Exactly. If worse comes to worse and the person you're speaking with speaks English, which is your language you want to learn, then ask them to see if they can figure out what you're trying to say. Ask them if they get the idea of what you're trying to say. And you could even ask them for maybe another way to say that, right?
Yeah.
So all of these kind of work together, don't you think?
Yeah.
All right, anything that I missed out on this one?
Oh, yes. And if you're going along having a conversation, it might be nice to try not being corrected for a while.
Absolutely. And I know I'm going to hear about that because all of my students want to be corrected all of the time. Is that your experience?
Yeah.
And there is a lot of value in that for sure. However, every now and then, maybe if you're going to have an hour conversation with a tutor, go for 15 minutes to 30 minutes without being corrected and see how that goes for you. This gives you 15 to 30 minutes of just thinking in English. Then you can have another 30 minutes to be corrected and to learn some more from your mistakes. All right, guys. So I'm glad that we were able to do this together. It's kind of a cool thing that it ended up being this way. I hope that you liked the video. I'd love to know what you think in the comments below. Let me know how you like this video in comparison to other videos. Let me know if you have any other ideas about how to think in English. Some of the best ways that you can find ideas is to look in the comments about what other people have learned, what they've experienced, what's helped them. So if this video was helpful, give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe so that you can, why do we say, sorry, bleep. Don't forget to subscribe.
Take 2.
Yeah, right, exactly. Don't forget to subscribe so that you won't miss out on any more of this greatness. All right, see you in the next one. Bye.